Mobile task forces, one of the most popular departments in SCP roleplay. But there are only 3 of them in-game, while in SCP lore there are hundreds, so what task forces should be added to SCP roleplay? Epsilon 9, OK Fire Eaters is a task force made for anomalies that use fire. This is like the most perfect match you can get. They even have them as a task force in our breach, and it would be a good way for MTF to contain 457. 457 could also create fire around the facility that will spread if not extinguished. This would also make the SCP far more useful and dangerous. The Epsilon 9 division could have just one of the normal MTF rifles and some sort of extinguisher to put out flames. The extinguisher could also stun 457. Tell me in the comments what you think of this. So mobile task forces work in a way that, for example, you will have Epsilon, which contains Epsilon 11, Epsilon 9, Epsilon 6 and more. Then you will have Lambda that contains Lambda 9 and more. The Eta task forces are pretty self-explanatory. Eta 10 deals with cognitive hazards, Eta 77 dealing aggressive religion-related anomalies, and Eta 11 which deals with music-related anomalies. We don't talk about Eta 4.
The sun don't shine. I can't see anything.
What I think could be incorporated is Eta 10 or Tau 1 and Eta 11. Yes, scrambler goggles would make Eta 10 or Tau 1 useless, but they could have the ability to deactivate TVs with 096's face on it for some time, and they would give low-ranking MTF scrambler goggles. To counter everyone using Eta 10 whenever 096 breaks out, they could have a weaker gun than the rest of the mobile task forces. Eta 10 could also be replaced by Tau 1, which is the designated task force for SCP-096. For Eta 11, as they specialize in musical or sound anomalies, they could have the job of containing SCP-066. The SCP could be made to be more dangerous by killing people faster, and Eta 11 could have some sort of device or box that they put on SCP-066 to contain it, similar to how MTF contained the peanut, but it would only be Eta 11 who could contain SCP-066. The last task force I think we could add in this one is not that necessary, but why don't we add Iota 1 known as Dream Hunters for SCP-966? Maybe their task force could have a quicker way of containing instances of SCP-966 than normal MTF teams that have to walk the creatures back to their cells. For SCP-049 there is not a task force that specializes in its capture, so any task force could work for the Plague Doctor. Unless they add more SCPs to SCP roleplay. There's not many more task forces that would work for the game in its current state. What task forces do you think should be added? Comment your ideas below. And please subscribe.